Samsung, proud sponsor of Tech Busters.
Well, Windows 8.1 has certainly been in the spotlight the last few weeks for the latest update that's come out, and a lot of users are happy, and many of them are happy that the start button is back now. Colin Erasmus is the OEM lead. In other words, he's like the god of gods when it comes to all the Windows licensing at Microsoft in South Africa. Colin Erasmus, nice to have you in the studio with us.
Good to be here, Aki.
We are so happy the start button is back.
Well, it's good to hear. You know what? I think the one thing we're doing a lot better nowadays, I think, as Microsoft, is the feedback. Feedback from people. This telemetry data that we call, where we're collecting a lot of this information that people are using on the products, and we're now starting to address a lot of those sorts of issues. So yeah, it's great news. People have asked for it, it's back.
Firstly, I'm a big fan of Windows 8, and I love the operating system, and I love the new enhancements to Windows 8.1. Well, they're not actually little. There are some significant enhancements. Tell us what's new about Windows 8.1.
So I think you hit the nail on the head. We often talk about, I think, a lot of the broad-ranging enhancements, and there we talk about things like making it a lot more personal. You know, you take a tablet nowadays. You know, people want to be able to use the camera sort of out the pocket or wherever you're storing these things. We now have the ability to sort of swipe up on the device, get the camera immediately. And also things like a lot of people gave us feedback around the stock enhancements or the stock nature between the desktop and this modern UI that Windows 8.1 or 8 brought. And it looked stark when you moved between them. They fixed those sorts of things, so it actually looks like the same sort of system that you're working on now. They've also fixed a lot of the things from a navigation point of view. People said to us, allow us to navigate the product easier. You know, when we install applications get lost.
Yes.
So we now have a full application screen where you can sort of swipe up on the screen and all your apps are in one place. You know, those are sort of the navigation bits that they really have advanced.
Yeah.
We talk about search though. I mean, search is massive for people today. You know, and what we've seen in the past is people tend to search on their desktop or they search the files that are on the device, and then they love to search on the web or the cloud, whatever you want to call this thing nowadays. And what the enhanced search has done is it gives you both now. So when you search, one source search, it'll search across the web, it'll search across the files that you have, and it's really become very, very cloud connected for us today. You know, those are just sort of some of the top line enhancements that they've done to the product.
I think in many regards, I think sometimes people get frustrated, but when you look at the operating system, I actually think Windows 8 was ahead of its time when it was launched. And I think that the touch interface is the key over here. And the fact that you're now seeing more notebooks coming out that have got touch screens, and especially tablet devices like this, Windows 8 is essentially a touch operating system, and it really works really well like that, doesn't it?
So you're right. Look, I mean, we designed it to be used in both worlds. In, you know, a mouse and a keyboard world. We recognize that there are a lot of people that are still there. You know, a lot of small businesses, a lot of businesses are still using desktop. So it was designed to do that. But you're right. It comes into its own in that touch environment. And you know, you've touched on that ecosystem, or you sort of started touching on it there. I think one of the major enhancements to 8.1 is the new hardware that we're going to start seeing. So, you know, Intel has released the new chipsets. We call them Bay Trail, which is sort of the Atom-based chipsets.
Yes.
Haswell, which are the performance chipsets that we've seen. And you're going to see a whole bunch of devices that have specifically been designed around Windows 8.1 and these new chipsets. You know, the new bits of technology that we're starting to see. So now already, you know, you've got devices like this, SUSE T100, thinner, lighter, a massive long battery weight. Battery life. And the thing that we were trying to do there is we've always said that we wanted to address people in the home and people at work.
Right.
So we wanted to give people a device where they can consume media and where they can be fully productive. You know, and these devices that you're going to see are going to allow you to do that. You know, you're going to be able to do everything that you need to do, you know, from a work perspective, as well as when you're at home, be able to pull the thing out and watch a movie, listen to music, and it will give you the best of both worlds. And those are mostly one of the bigger enhancements that we've done around the product.
And it's a lot about mobility as well, isn't it? I mean, Colin, you're seeing these beautiful tablets coming out. I mean, I'm holding a Samsung Slate. I mean, this device is about 2 years old, but, you know, it's still a very mobile device. You know, you've got the new Nokia devices that were announced recently. So you're seeing more and more hardware coming out supporting Windows 8.1, which is fantastic. And I just love the fact that it's the mobility. Now, the App Store is one thing that Microsoft has lagged behind. You are playing catch up. I'm seeing apps like Instagram that are coming through. What's the story with the App Store?
Yeah, so we've actually just over 100,000 apps now, and we need to understand the ecosystem a little bit. We have Windows 8 on the phone, obviously. We have Windows 8 or 8.1 on the tablets now. We've just gone over 100,000 apps now globally on the tablet or on the PC form factor, if you want to call it that. And of the top 50 apps in the world, we now have 49 of those 50 apps. Instagram was really the last one, and that's now become. So we pretty much have 50 of the 50 top apps now. So that is coming very nicely. I think the thing that we're working on very hard as South Africa is local relevance. So you start looking at things like News 24 as an example. We start looking at apps like FNB, Standard Bank. That's where we really want to focus. We're well aware that people want locally relevant applications as well as those international applications. And for businesses, where we're finding it very useful are these line of business type applications. We're seeing that the trend has changed, and we've seen this mobility trends become massive for us. And people now want a tablet. And it's amazing to see how people work in a corporate environment with a tablet today. They don't have a PC anymore. They don't have a desktop. But what really brings these devices to light are those line of business applications. So how do I have an instant look at what's going on in my business intelligence at the touch of a button? And that is very exciting for us.
Well, exciting stuff indeed. That's Colin Erasmus, who's the OEM lead at Microsoft, talking about Windows 8.1. And I'm sure the conversation will eventually come up with Office 365, great Office suite, but essentially it ties all the dots up. Great operating system. If you haven't updated to 8.1, do so right now.